in it. So, everybody, my next guest is a former sitting state senator from Nevada, of all places. It's hot out there. It's hot out there. But she's part of the Veterans for America First, and she's going to let us know what's going on in her neck of the woods. So, Miss Elizabeth, because I am not tearing your name up, I often say her last name is Klukin, but I was looking at mine. Bring her on in, Dave. Hey, Elizabeth.
Hey, how are you? Good to be here.
Thank you. Did I explain the school voucher system when it comes to children correctly?
Absolutely. I think that's great. I was actually with somebody who lives in my district, just the other night, and the parents were talking about how they want to, in no way, shape, or form, they have two young children. No way, shape, or form will they ever send their children to public schools in Nevada and Clark County ever. They're going to be homeschooling their children or sending them to a private school or somewhere that will accept the vouchers because the public school system is failing our children at every single turn. So you're absolutely right. These are our taxpayer dollars. We're paying taxes. They should be following the child, and we should be able to put our children where they're going to be successful. So you did a great job of explaining that.
Thank you, because I read HB bills, Senate bills, and I am so confused at some of the language. Why can't they make it simple for regular citizens to be able to look down in the hopper and see what they're doing?
They absolutely need to, and that's something that I really tell people when they get into office. We need single subject bills. They need to be very simple and get right through. The reason why a lot of our bills aren't getting through, of course, are playing politics with some of them. It is because they stuff so much garbage and so many things that don't belong into these bills. That's why they never get passed. That's why things don't get done. And then they just wait till the next election cycle, which, again, is a topic I want to talk about on something very important too,
Go ahead.
with our voting. But that's exactly right. It needs to be simple. It needs to be one subject, and they need to get the bills through, especially for our children.
Wait a
You're
minute.
absolutely right.
Your governor isn't Katie Hobbs, is it?
No, Katie Hobbs is luckily over in Arizona. Ours is not, uh, is a Republican, but we'll see. It's kind of actions speak louder than words. But Katie Hobbs is right now, girl, what she's going through.
Wait a minute, and then we're going to get on your state. Is it really real that what's coming out there, some of these signatures are not the actual voter signatures, and they have the real voter signatures, and they're completely, it's fraud. It's that's fraud.
I believe it. I have not seen those specific signatures, haven't seen them, but I believe it's happening. I've had people here in my state. I actually have friends who went and actually took the ballots out of the envelopes, and they were able to compare. There were some signatures that they would see 20 different ballots in a row, and it would be the same signature. They would see lines as a signature. They would see X's as a signature that didn't match the voter signature. So I can only imagine what's happening in Arizona. I know Maricopa County. I've got a lot of friends down in Arizona. And yeah, I know that here's the deal. I guess I should say it this way. If half of the population believes there's or is questioning voter integrity and questioning our elections, then let's go and do the research. Let's go and look at the evidence and see if it's legitimate. You shouldn't have a problem with it. And if it's not, then let's fix it.
Okay.
And that's kind of the go ahead.
Yeah, your state, because I really want to know what's going on out there in Nevada also. I try to keep up with a lot of national news, even though I live in Georgia and we got our own issues, but I like looking at everybody else's state too.
Yeah, our state. So when I ran for U.S. Congress this last election during the primary. So we had here in Nevada, we are a caucus state. So we had our caucus, but then it was also we had a presidential primary. So we actually had several elections in one year, which made it very confusing to voters. So we had a presidential primary. A few days later, we had the caucus. Well, if you were a presidential candidate like President Trump, he had to choose, or Nikki Haley, for example, they had to choose which ballot they wanted to be on. They couldn't be on both. So of course, the only one that counted to get delegates was the caucus. So everybody who wanted to vote for President Trump went to the caucus. We did not vote on our paper ballots. We did not go and vote for the presidential primary. However, there was a huge issue. I kept getting calls from voters contacting me saying that the Secretary of State's website had said that they had voted. And so I, of course, went and looked at my own voting history, and it said I had voted too. So I actually pulled out my paper ballot, which was sealed still, and I did a video, and I actually did 3 videos because it wasn't getting picked up. People weren't, well, the news wasn't paying attention. Finally, the news did. Finally, our governor, Republican governor, responded and said it was inappropriate and everything for me to notify. Of course, our Secretary of State was a Democrat. Our like I said, our governor is a Republican. So what happened was I kept calling it out. I kept doing videos about it, showing my paper ballot was sealed. However, on the Secretary of State's website, it said that my husband checked his too. My husband and I had voted by mail, oh, wow. And we had voted in the presidential primary. So, of course, finally, some news outlets did pick it up. It even made Fox News and other outlets. But yeah, it's a serious thing. Luckily, President Trump was successful and won the state of Nevada this election. But it's rampant. We really do need to look at our election cycle. This is our elections. I have said recently, too, I know we follow each other on social media, but one thing that I had said, I think it's very important right now, we have a trifecta. We have the House, we have the U.S. House, we have the U.S. Senate, and we have the presidency. So we have literally 2 years to get through the bills that we want. One of the things that we absolutely need to be focusing on, of course, we know the border, yes. Number one, the economy. A third thing that people kept talking to me about across the country was the elections, was getting voter ID, was getting paper ballots, was getting one-day elections. Ooh. So why do we still, it's been a month, why do we still not have a bill that's gone through the House, that's gone through the Senate, and is sitting on the president's desk to be signed by the President of the United States for these things? We can do it. They've already passed a bill. Remember, Lincoln Riley, yes. Riley has already been passed. So we know legislation can be passed very quickly. It's something, of course, we have the majority in the House, we have it in the Senate, and we have the presidency. So this is something, if these Republicans are serious about getting voter ID, getting paper ballots, and getting one-day elections, this is a bill that can absolutely happen. And there's a lot of other legislation that needs to be passed. So these are things that need to be focused on.
I think the executive orders, because I haven't seen a bad executive order yet that he's actually signed. I think all of it need to be made into law.
All of it. And that's the issue. Why are our legislators not picking it up? Why haven't it gone through? Because it needs to go through the legislative process in order for it to be a law that it cannot be changed by an executive order the next time somebody is president. We saw what happened when Joe Biden got into office. He waved his magic wand and got rid of President Trump's orders the last time. So it needs to go through the legislative process, needs to be passed, needs to be signed. Of course, executive orders are helpful, but again, it needs to go through that process. So we need to see those executive orders and many more laws go through.
Do you want to see a Doge in your state?
I think every state needs to have one. Absolutely.
Everybody's like, yes, we do, but don't your state constitution is just like ours have to have a balanced budget? It's different things. What would Doge come in and find in Nevada?
Oh my goodness. I'll tell you, there is so much waste. Every single legislative session, I know you have to deal with it. Every state deals with it, right? They always say, oh, well, education is underfunded, which it is, but we give the money to the legislators. We say, well, I'll say the voters vote we make things law so we can pay more that goes to education. It goes to the legislature, and then they, for some reason, take that money and put it somewhere else. I didn't vote for it. I wasn't there when they passed it. They created the largest tax increase, a tax against business in 2015. The Republicans did, by the way. And that money, they were told, was going to help education. Let's say another thing that was actually put on the ballot for voters to vote on was marijuana. Legalize marijuana, the money is going to go to education.
Did it? Where did the money go
so
to?
That's the problem. The people don't know, so people keep voting on these things because we want the best for our children. This is our future generation. You create better schools for our children. They're going to be, the stewards of our country, of our states, of our communities, and we have to prepare them. We're not preparing them. You want better businesses, you want better communities, then guess what? You better fix education. And unfortunately, we don't have Doge here. We need somebody to go through and actually look at it and hold people accountable, because right now it's not happening.
But if they're being educated, and let's call it indoctrinated. If they're being indoctrinated by the woke left, because we know for the last 4 years and before, I'll say the last 10 years, we know there's been a lot of indoctrination. Do you think we could turn this around, take this stuff and get it back to what because I'm like this, I would rather have not it at a national level, kick it back to Georgia, kick it back to Nevada, Arizona, kick it back there. Take that money that the government is giving, and then you got a T-Splosh, y'all pulled a T-Splosh out there where they tax, pennies on the dollar, and it's supposed to go to education. Can you go ask for that money back if it's not going to the education?
Well, our legislature, our governor puts forward what he would like. Our legislature, of course, pushes through what they would like. At the end of the day, it's up to our legislature to decide. We can say all day long what we want it to go through, what we want it to go to, but unfortunately, there are people in office, and here's what happens a lot. People campaign one way to get the votes. They'll get elected, and then they'll do the exact opposite. Well, a lot of people are not paying attention to what is going on in their legislature. A lot of people probably don't even know we have a state legislature. They're only focused on the presidency. They're focused on the federal level, unfortunately, and not paying attention. So the next time elections happen, they're voting for the same people who are not voting and not representing them in the legislature. So it's super important that people pay attention to their local elections. They pay attention to what's happening in their states and local governments, because this is what affects them directly today.
Oh, do y'all have term limits on your governor, and do you have term limits on the Senate, and also the House of Representatives?
We sure do. We just need it on a federal level. Yep.
Y'all doing it? What is y'all's? Because we have nothing over here in Georgia, but the governor can't run past 2 terms.
Yep, it's 2 terms for the governor, and here for the state Senate, they can run for 3 terms, and then which is 4, 8, 12, and then yes. So we have term limits for our lower house, for our legislature, our executive branch. So it's great. We need term limits on a federal level. That was something that was huge that people have talked to me about when I ran for U.S. Congress. So we need to get that as well. We probably won't, because it has to be voted on by the body, but we should be getting it if they were being true to their word.
I believe that if Doge and Kash Patel and Dan Bongino get in there and realize that these lawmakers are getting rich off kickbacks, off bribery, I want to see arrest. Okay, let's give you an example. Nancy Pelosi. We know she's been in there for 30 some odd years. There's still no reason why she's worth over, her and her husband combined net worth is over $250 million.
It's insane. It's crazy. I really do hope that they do seriously take a look at it. The fact that there's people, you're making just over $100,000. You should not be a like I couldn't even tell you how many elected officials are multi-millionaires. How?
How?
That you're not doing it legitimately. You're supposed to get in there. You're supposed, again, why we need term limits. You're supposed to get in there. You're supposed to serve and do what you said you're going to do. You're supposed to get in there and represent the people, and then you're supposed to get out and go home. Our founding fathers did not intend for people to serve forever, for a lifetime. I'm sorry. Our president has term limits. Our governors have term limits. Our state legislatures have term limits. Our local officials have term limits. Congress needs to have term limits. Obviously, unfortunately, it's super hard to get people to pay attention and to not vote for bad legislators. But we need to make it happen. We need to get term limits again. These guys cannot be in office forever. It's very crooked. You're right. I don't know why we have multimillionaires in office when they're paid just a small amount of money. Well, small, in
They
terms
wrote the
of
laws for themselves. They broke those laws. If you get a kickback or if you're insider trading, they wrote these laws. They wrote the penalties, and nothing is happening to them. And they're doing everything against exactly what the law that they passed. And let's talk about, because I just came across a video, and I just want to ask you your opinion on this. AOC was talking to Jon Stewart, and it's a nighttime interview, and you can tell it's Jon Stewart and AOC. She was braggadocious, saying that the Democrats actually do insider trading. It's not a secret. Everyone knows. So if she's on television, Adam Schiff is on TV, Nancy Pelosi is on TV, telling people that they broke the law. Can we do citizens arrest? Or you can, because you used to be a sitting representative, so you have a lot more power than any of us, and you know the laws. So would you be like, hey, can you go lock them up? Sergeant at arms, they broke a treason code or something like that, because they're on television telling on themselves, and it's like, then why aren't they arrested yet? What do you think?
Yeah, so one thing that I talked about when I was speaking and had questions a lot about, why isn't the border closed yet? Why aren't, people, of course, keep running on these issues and things aren't getting done. I think a lot of them are, have a lot of things against them. And I think that they, unfortunately, if we do something to one of them and hold somebody accountable, somebody else is going to come out and say, well, hold on, let me say this, this, and this, which would be great. If they're breaking the laws. They should. Unfortunately, I think there's a lot of people who are compromised, and that's why some big things are not happening. I think now with this administration, I think we're seeing with Doge, I think that we're seeing, and we're going to be seeing with Dan Bongino and, of course, Kash Patel, my Vegas. He's from Las Vegas, so had to get that shout out there. But having Kash and Dan in there, I think the lineup is incredible. We have Kristi Noem, Tom Holman. Don't get me started. That guy is my spirit animal. Love Tom Holman.
I love Tom Holman.
But the team that we have in place, I think some incredible things are going to happen. I think people need to stay tuned, because we're actually going to see some stuff happen that we've been waiting for a very long time.
Okay, I got a question. These three, which one do you want to see first? The Jeffrey Epstein client list flight log, UFOs and where they originated, or who got paid from USAID? Which one would you like to see first?
Oh my goodness, you're asking hard questions. I, of course, want to see, okay, because I have to answer, I'm going to say the Epstein list. I think that human trafficking is a huge thing for me. It's a huge topic. It was my number one issue. Closing the border was huge to everybody. We have to stop. My daughter, victim of human trafficking, our families had to deal with it. horrible, horrible thing. I want these names out there. I think these people need to be held accountable. We have to end human trafficking. We should not protect people just because they're millionaires and billionaires. The facts that they have bought people, whether it's for sexual reasons or for work, this is not okay. I want to see that Epstein list. And I think most of America does too.
I'm sorry about your daughter. Now, being in Las Vegas and being from Nevada, we know that's like the gambling area in the United States. Is there a big problem with muling and sex trafficking? And I know they say prostitution is illegal. So if prostitution is legal in Nevada, why do they even need sex trafficking? Because it's freely available in Nevada.
It's available in certain parts of Nevada. It's not legal in Las Vegas. We have a lot of people who come through here. Human trafficking is a huge, huge moneymaker. You know, with the last administration and ones that followed, the cartel owned the border. The cartel, this is a business to them. Human trafficking, huge business. You can, sell drugs one time, but you can sell a human 10, 10, 20, 30 times a day. It's huge. It's huge here. Unfortunately, it's very heartbreaking, very sad. It happens every single day. Las Vegas is one of the top places here, and we know America is one of the top places consumers of human trafficking. So it's heartbreaking. It's happening every single day. It needs to come to light. And needs to, of course, closing the border, securing the border, stopping people and sending people back is going to be a huge part of that. It's not going to stop, of course, because it does happen here in the United States, within the United States, not just bringing people across our borders, but that's going to be a huge help for sure.
Now that you're out of the Senate, what is your next endeavors, or what has God placed in your path that you want to see accomplished?
I've really just been enjoying my time since this election. We've gotten President Trump elected. That was a huge goal for us, and we were able to get him reelected as the President of the United States. I've had a number of people already reach out to me asking me to run for Congress again. I'm not sure, never say never, but I am enjoying my time just on my business and with my family right now.
Okay, we got 2 minutes left. I want you to tell everybody what you want to say, and then how, plug yourself, where they can find you. And I always say, I'm going to start doing this with all of our special guests. Leave a great inspirational last word.
People can go and find me. They can find me on X. I'm at Elizabeth4NV, and on most of my social medias, it's Elizabeth4NV. I would love to connect with you. You can go to my website still, Elizabeth4NV, send me an email as well. But I'm just so thankful to be here with you and everything that you're doing. You're so incredible. You're such an inspiration. You're reaching so many people, talking about so many incredible things. I hope you run for office again. We need to get you in office. So please make sure that you do that. To everybody else, there's so many incredible things happening in our country. Just remember to be kind to one another, and Jesus loves you.
Amen. And I wanted to tell you this, no disrespect to your husband, but Greg said yours hot.
Okay. All right. I'll let my husband know.
We need to go ahead and let everybody know. We just got some fierce ladies on our side. I'm just saying, we just cuties. So it is what it is. I think you're gorgeous inside and out. You're beautiful inside and out. So is Pam Bundy, Christy Gnomes, Caroline, everyone. So, you know what? Because we don't age and become evil, because they're indwelled in Satan. So they're not going to get any prettier. As long as we have the light of Christ, we're going to always be gorgeous.
That's right. You got it, girl.
So everybody, we'll be right back. Y'all stay tuned. Thank you so much, Elizabeth.
Thank you so much.
All right, Dave.
We are running a sale on our entire We the People line of products. Just use promo code TOLDYOUSO and get 15% off until the end of March. So order today.
The Real News with Lucretia Hughes is funded by you, the viewers, not USAID. So to support the show, please donate through PayPal at Fallback Production Studio, Cash App $ Lucretia Hughes 44, Venmo at Lucretia-Hughes, or shop at our store, fallbackusa2.myshopify.com. Thank you so much.